Jay, I see you're still alive. Despite the eclipse.
I am. Yep. No Hellgate. You're welcome.
I gotta say, man, no portals, no demons, no UFOs, no. I feel a little let down.
Sorry, man.
I feel a little let down, my guy. I feel a little let down there. Anyways, though, enough. That was last week's. But I have seen some pretty good. Before I get into this, everybody, welcome to the show. And to help, I've got about 50 people IMing me, telling me thank you for subscribing, telling me to get some more subscribers. Jay, I should ask subscribers at the beginning of the channel. So please subscribe. Hit the button. Thank you. Anyways, check it out, Jay. So, yeah, we got a lot of critics now, man. We got a lot of, I call them our helpers, but they're cool. I like these guys. We got a lot of helpers.
Absolutely.
Here.
Yeah.
We got a lot of channel helpers here. You know what I like about conspiracy theories, Jay?
What's that?
You know what I like about conspiracy theories, bro?
There's a lot to like there, sir.
Yeah, is that they never end, and I'll give you an example. They never end on one subject. So now people are saying that the eclipse was faked and that was an artificial moon or artificial sun up there by NASA. And the video that I saw this on had 2 million views, and it was 9 minutes long. And I'm like, okay. And then other people are reaching out saying that the reason why the eclipse didn't kill us is because white hats, whatever that means, successfully hijacked CERN and moved us back to our original 2017 timeline. And so I should be saying thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, right. So you're welcome. Show some gratitude, mother trucker.
You're welcome.
All right, man. Thank you, man. No worries.
Hey,
Thanks,
look, there's no murder hornets on this timeline either.
Murder hornets.
There's no. Hey, look, man. We do what we can.
Do what we can, man. So thank you. So thank you for saving humanity.
Right.
And
thank goodness, right? Like no winged things flying out of the ground or sky or scrolls opening and.
Well, I had $20,000 worth of silver-tipped arrows. Now what am I supposed to do with these things?
I know, right?
Well, now what am I supposed to do with this? But anyways,
right. Spent a lot of time dunking arrowheads in holy water, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. Now what are we supposed to do? We'll just save those in case we ever get bounced back to that timeline. But anyway, so
tonight to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Thank you. So continue prepping on, and everybody that sent me messages this week, thank you for your support, for the messages, and you are welcome. So anyways, enough of that noise. That was last week. Tonight we're going to talk about, Jay, what do you know about the Dyatlov Pass? Am I saying that right, Jay? Dyatlov? I want to see my Ruski voice.
It's probably as close as we're going to get, so I think it's good enough. Neither of us speak Russian very well.
Das vidanya.
So I think we're going to do our best, right?
I did
Dyatlov.
I did date a chick named Svetlana one time.
I had a date with a girl. What was her name?
Sergey. He was Sergey.
Nastya.
Natasha.
What?
Was it Sergey?
Nastya. Sergey. No. His name was Yerman.
Yerman.
No.
Yerman.
Anyway, no. Dude, there was a dude in Vladivostok who knows if he ever sees this, but thank you, Yermani. He got us back to the ship.
Fun fact, that's where I dated a chick named Svetlana. And she actually was living in Japan, and I actually met her in Vladivostok. Fun fact, Jay and I have been to Vladivostok twice. We were there for the Russian Navy's 100-year anniversary, and that was right after several years after the Soviet Union crumbled. And
it was.
Their currency was trash, and so look, I don't subscribe a lot to the what goes on in geopolitical world because it's usually a lot of lies propagated by people with have financial interest in play. However, I will say that I met about 100 Russian servicemen, and they were all 100% cool, and they had the same problems
right.
they had the same problems we had over here. They were so poor. Some of these guys brought their families onto the military base, and they had their wives literally living on their ships with them. And the only person I had a problem with was I was about to knock out one of our bosun's mates from our ship for snatching off somebody's hat and running it through him. So the only hands I had to throw in Vladivostok was with another American, right? And so
Yeah, right.
And so that was
I had the same experience, man.
Yeah.
There was a beach party.
Yeah.
Did you see the beach party?
Yeah,
and everybody I met at the beach party was super cool.
Super cool. I actually traded.
I
So in my storage, I have all my collections over there, and I actually swapped my hat for a Russian submariner's black hat. We swapped caps, man. I definitely made out better than that. I was like, man, are you sure? Let me give you something else. He's like, no, this was cool. This was cool. So anyway, so all you guys over there in Vladivostok years ago, hope you're doing well.
Absolutely.
Anyways, though, it's good times, man.
It was.
So anyways, Dyatlov Pass, Jay. We're going to talk about this tonight. We're going to get a little weird. My favorite subject, man. And a fun fact about Dyatlov Pass. There was a couple of stories that got me into this type of field, right? And this was one of the main ones. I've actually done a lot of reading on this, and I have gotten into heated conversations with people about what really went down.
Have you really?
Yeah, I believe, right? Nerd rage.
Yeah. This is something that I've done a little bit of research on too, because I came across it a long time ago, probably at least 10 years ago, and I was like, that's really weird. And so I just kind of fell down that rabbit hole and went real deep into it. But that was a really long time ago. So I did a little refresher, but yeah, I'm pretty familiar with it too. It's an interesting case.
Spoiler alert, I figured it out, and you will get it at the end. I know what happened, right?
Okay.
So for those of you guys watching, Dyatlov Pass, if you've never heard about this before, is a very, very, very famous, mysterious disappearance case, UFO case, Bigfoot case, KGP case, time traveling. Depending on who you talk to, this thing has the perfect setup where you can go down any one of these paths and pull on a few strings of truth. But let me give you the facts that nobody can debate, right? What the Dyatlov Pass is. The name of Dyatlov Pass is actually named after the leader of the expedition, was a 23-year-old boy named Igor Dyatlov. Now that's a Russian name if I ever heard one right there before, right? Igor Dyatlov was leading this. And so before we go any further, I don't use names a lot on this channel unless I get permission to use names on this channel. So this was a 9-man expedition. And just out of respect of the dead, I'm not going to sit down there and rattle out how each name died.
It was a group of very experienced hikers, right?
Hikers.
Like these were mountaineers.
Yes. These were so don't expect names. If you want the names, there's plenty of other YouTube channels you can go and check out.
Wikipedia, there's a good article on there.
Yeah. So anyway, so what it was is that you had 9 hikers, and they were actually all going for their level 3 certification. So it sounds kind of like cheesy, but at the time, this was a big deal this was 1959 actually. This was a big deal back then. They didn't have Gore-Tex or Under Armour.
Yeah.
Right?
This was the Soviet Union.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
It's not like they were at the tippity top of technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
1959 either.
So what the class was, what the certification was basically a 200-mile trip, and that is insane right there, across this place called the Ural mountain range, right, or the Ural mountains. And this took place around February 1st, 2nd, 1959, give or take the months or whatever to do it. And it was 9 Soviet hikers, and they were trying to achieve their level 3 certification, right? It was 7 men and 2 women, right? And they were led by Igor Dyatlov. And because of this incident, the area where this happened was named after Igor's last name, Dyatlov Pass, to go into it. So
Sort of like Donner Pass.
Yeah.
You know, same kind of deal.
Right. And this mountain range was in 200 miles of the Siberian forest. And so that lets you know right there that this was hard mountain ranges in 1959. In fact, to this day, that Siberian mountain range to get to the Dyatlov Pass is very, very difficult to get to. And it's not like over here, it still gets a lot of snow and everything is like that, right? So
yeah, one of the things that they mentioned was that it was lower risk. It was still a pretty high risk, but they were bringing down some of the risk because they were just going to stick to the foothills.
Yeah.
Right. They weren't going to try to traverse the mountain or anything like that. They were just going to, follow the.
In fact, these guys were such good. They were so, we'll use the term mountaineers, right? They were so good at what they were doing, right? That they were all very confident as a team. They would come through together. They were all very confident. So confident they actually brought cameras. They took a ton of pictures, right?
They documented everything.
Yeah, they took a ton of pictures, took a lot of notes. So for these guys, it was like, hey, look, we'll get through it, slow and steady. Remember your training, and you'll be fine, right? You think that, right? You think that until a damn UFO shows up and drops off killer Yetis, right? You think that, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, it just, that'd take anybody by surprise, right? Like any kind of entity that it's not you showing up.
All right, who had killer vampires? Who? I forgot the killer vampire.
Right?
What?
Killer vampires. What was it? It was either Yetis, killer vampires, aliens,
Yetis,
or radioactive wolves.
ball lightning, radioactive wolves,
ball lightning,
demons. I've heard it all, right? Bears, which I actually can rule something. We'll rule that as we go.
Radioactive bears.
Yeah, radioactive bears. But like I said, I figured it out, right? I got it all figured out. So they're going, they're doing their trip. What's that?
We forgot about the CIA, man. You can't forget about the
CIA, KGB. Another thing too, right? Before I get into this, I'm going to throw out that KGB CIA crap right now. So if you guys that are in this channel, me and Jay were intel for several years. There's been a standing rule since I want to say the end of World War II, where the CIA and KGB had a standing non-spoken rule that they would not kill each other. They would kill each other's assets all the time, but a full-fledged KGB agent would not ever kill a CIA agent, and the same would go, a CIA agent would not kill a KGB agent. Now, the difference is, like, they would have assets, and those people who have assets wouldn't be in the KGB. They were open game. And if you think I'm making it up, go read it and go see it. So they're all Freemasons at the end of the day, man.
Well, I mean, you think
Hail
about
Satan, right? That's all they do.
Well, wait a minute. now you went off the track. The whole detente thing, right? Where any kind of crossfire like that, where a KGB agent actually killed a CIA operative, right? Would have been an international incident, even if it was only behind closed doors, right?
Correct.
Like that would be a pretty big deal.
Yeah,
that would have the president on the phone with somebody.
So we've been frenemies with the Ruskies since 1945. Don't believe what you see on CNN, right? We're not going to war with Russia, ever. Trust me. Anyways, Jay, stop changing the subject, man. Look, stay on track, bro. Stay on track.
Hey, man, sorry.
Stay on track.
My fault. Absolutely. I will focus.
Focus, man. Talking about Vladivostok, Svetlana's, KGB. What if this is not that type of podcast? Anyways, so by the way, if you're
family show, man, it's a family show.
It's a family show, yeah. If you're a Svetlana, hit me up in the comments. We'll send you a T-shirt. So anyway, so check it out. Or what was yours, Jay?
Or your money.
Your money. We'll send you a T-shirt. So anyway, so these guys and two ladies started out, man. They were doing the track. They were getting it going. Everything was fine. And I hate to say it, man. It's that old cliche when you're out in the woods and you're in the military. Everything's fine and literally till it's not fine, right?
Yep.
And it's just that, like we've seen it. It's just that simple. It just shows up. Thick snowstorm rolls in, right? And the snowstorm wasn't, so they were expected snowstorms, right? Like, so they were, temperatures
It's Russia
30,
in the winter.
Yeah, 30 below.
We're expecting snowstorms.
Yeah, but this one for even, but this one for even their standards was like, all right, it's a little rough, right? So like this one came out. Right. I can't imagine how bad it was if they were prepared for minus 30-degree weather and snowstorms, and this showed up. So anyway, it showed up and actually pushed them off course. Now these are experienced hikers, right? And so it created a fairly severe whiteout condition. And so for any of you soy boys out there who don't know what a whiteout is, right? It's not the stuff you put on your paper. A whiteout is when the snow is so bad. I've seen these before. I've been in them. You're basically blind.
I've been in them.
Right, and so blind. So these guys and their training kicked in. They roped up, man. All 9 of them roped up. Igor's in the front. And the thing is to get to a level area that we can get down, set up camp. We'll wait the storm out. We'll bundle up, dig out, keep going. Problem solved, right? But for some reason, Igor was probably had to do a little bit, probably a little bit overconfidence. I don't want to say arrogance, but like overconfidence. So he's like, you know what? This isn't that bad for us. We can keep going a little bit longer than we should have went by. Instead of buckling down, they kept going, and they end up next to this mountain. They end up off course, not terribly, but enough off course where they finally set up their tent, and they finally got set up to go, and they got set down. And that is where the story, from this point,
it's weird.
It gets weird. It gets so weird that I've actually wrote down 15 strange things.
We should say that the last, because they documented this thing really well.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And the last diary entry and the last photograph, the last photograph was of them making camp in this wicked snowstorm. And any of those pictures are publicly available.
No, they're all over the internet, right?
Go take a look.
Yeah, so the last photo of these guys, they're calm. They are calm. They're setting up their tent. They know they're all going to be in this one tent together, and everything's cool. No one's freaking out. The plan is ride out the storm, get up in the morning, dig it out. We'll get back on course. We'll get moving, right? So another thing too so this is where it gets weird, Jay. All right, this is where it gets weird, right? Spoiler alert for everybody watching: all 9 of these hikers end up perishing in very different ways. And so here's where, so let me stop. Let's get to that in a second. After they set up that camp, no more communication was heard from these people at all. The communication stopped. They were missing. They were off the radar. Rescue protocols kicked in, which I think is not much of a protocol because it's like 1 week. I was like, damn.
Yeah, their families. Their families, after not hearing from them for quite a while.
Yeah, I think it was 2 weeks actually went by.
Back, right? Well, because there was no contact. Yeah, it's not like they had a GPS or a cell phone or a radio, or they didn't have anything.
Yeah, there was no satellite phones back there. So
it was like when they hit the next village, they would send a letter, right? And now then nobody had heard from them for a while. So they, I believe. What I remember was that they reached out to the Soviet Party because this was kind of a big deal, right? And so, this was like a pride thing. So they had to go find them, and they sent everybody.
Yeah. So these 9 individuals, they were all fairly young. I think one of them was in his 30s, but the rest of them were 20s or whatever. They were up and comers. They were they were grooming these guys, right? Haven't heard from them in 2 weeks. They roll out the search party. Search party goes, and they find them. Well, I said it. They start finding them. First thing they find is their campsite, right, where they had bunkered down for the night to go into at the base of this mountain, where they had bunkered down into to survive the storm. And the KGB, or not the KGB, the investigators were extremely thorough with their notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so the first thing that they noticed is that they found the tent, and the tent was a little collapsed. It wasn't upright anymore, but it was collapsed. So they examined it, and it was determined that the tent was cut open from the inside, right? And so all 9 of them were in this tent, and the tent was cut open from the inside. And what threw them off even more is that all of their belongings were neatly placed. Everything was neat. Everything was folded. All their clothes were in there. Shoes were in there. Yeah.
They had to cut themselves out while they were asleep.
Yeah. And so they had prepared food to eat, and it wasn't eaten. So the first thing that led them to is like, what happened? What would cause 9 people to cut open a tent in the middle of a storm and flee without their gear? These guys went barefoot. Right?
In their skivvies.
Right, in their underwear, right? It must have been, I don't know what was going on in that tent, but all right, man.
Well, I mean, not everybody sleeps in their clothes when they hike, dude,
Yeah. So they cut the tent open and they bolted. And I was like, okay. So right there. And this is where like I get into it with what I call the internet lawyers, right? Can we at least admit that's strange? Can we just give me that?
Oh,
strange.
Absolutely.
Strange. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. These are experienced mountaineers that in the middle of the night cut themselves out of their own tent and ran off into the woods.
Right.
In the cold. Right. Like we're talking really, really, really cold, man.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but when I went to boot camp in Chicago in Great Lakes in January. It was negative 60 degrees outside at one point. I know what that feels like. You don't run out there in no clothing. You instantly, it hurts.
Yeah, I went to boot camp in Orlando, July, and it was 140 degrees in the shade with lightning strikes.
Oh, well. Right, so, you had the opposite. Yeah, so you went into hell. I went into I don't know, cold hell.
I was in hell. So anyways, so they start, okay, so by what I would say of a pretty rare event, act of nature, it didn't snow that bad, and they were able to start tracking their flight out of the tent. And this gives me the chills just talking about this dude, man, because man, I've been in the woods before, man, and like what would cause you to freak out, like cut through all 9 of us, right?
Yeah, right. And like
jailbreak.
No cool heads prevailing there.
Yeah, we're just a jailbreak, right? Everybody just run, man. We're on our own, right? And not take your shoes, right? And not take your shoes.
Roll.
Just roll.
Don't even take, just like literally shot out of the tent, no thought to what is in there.
Yep. And so the investigators, based on they postulated at the time that this happened that these guys broke out, it was at least negative 30 degrees, right? And so another thing too, I give soy boys a hard time on this channel, man, but y'all deserve it, man. You smell like milk. So anyways, at negative 30 degrees, it is when you run, the moisture from your breath inhaling that cold air will actually freeze crystals into your lungs, and it can kill you, right? I can't remember the name of it or what it is, right?
Drown.
What's it called?
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but you would essentially drown.
Yeah, you basically you drown on your own blood.
Things happen immediately, dude.
Yeah.
Like at that temperature, your skin starts to freeze pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I know it negative. Well, I know from being, in it, they told us to cover every inch of your skin because within 30 seconds, like the surface of your skin will freeze in negative 60. So I would imagine in about a minute, right? It's gonna be painful.
Right. And so you can't just do a flat out sprint like that. Usually you cover your mouth looking like, Luke on, what was it, Hoth when he was running down there? I forget what he was, man.
Dagobah with his freaking neckerchief.
Yeah.
But they didn't even have that, man.
They didn't have any of that, right? So they took off running, right? And the footprints were so well preserved that these guys could tell that some of them were in socks and some of them were in barefoot, right? And I was thinking like, wow, man.
I can't even imagine.
So they're figuring like, hey, look, man, based on the temperatures, based on what was going on, they're going to be, 100 yards over there. Oh, they weren't.
Not going to get that far.
Yeah, so a couple of them got a half a mile away, right? They found the first two bodies. And the first two bodies they found were almost completely naked, right?
Yep.
When they came out, right? And so being left in that exposure that they were in, skin was black, hypothermia was setting in or whatever.
Would not have lasted long.
No animals touched the bodies. And that's another thing that we talk about on this channel as well, is that people say, oh, why don't they ever find a Bigfoot carcass? You've never found a deer carcass in the woods. None of you have. Matter of fact, none of you ever found a dead squirrel in the woods, right? Because nature cleans up quick, right?
Pretty quick.
So, but out here, nothing touched these bodies, right? So they keep going, and they're getting a little bit more surprised now at the distance that these guys actually made it out before they found them. They got to a mile out, and they found two more, right, that were out there, right? And then they go out a little bit longer, and they find. I'm gonna make sure I got this right. They find some more, but these. They found three of these. Three of them were in a tree, right? Like they had got up in a tree, right? And that's when I'm taking my notes right here because I want to make sure I'm going to get this right. They found two. There was 5 left. They found one in a tree, right? They found one that was up in a tree.
Oh no, they found. Okay, so they found evidence that he had climbed up in the tree.
Climbed up a tree, right?
Yeah. Up in there.
There we go. Right.
Yeah.
So they
found his
him.
skin in the bark of the tree because he obviously had tried to climb it.
Yes, there it is. What it is, right? And so they found him, right? So in the first day of the search, they found 5 bodies, right? And they didn't find the other, because there was 9. They didn't find the other 4. And this is where it gets even more strange. They didn't find the other 4 until 2 months later. Not only did these guys get out and sprint, when they found the bodies, they noticed that they had made makeshift clothing from their own clothing to move it around on their bodies so they can get going. And they got actually fairly far, right? In fact, they got into the woods. I want to say 3 kilometers away, 4 kilometers away is what the report said that they got. I can't remember. We'll say a mile and a half away just for simplest because it's really not.
Yeah, the last 3 kind of dropped off at different distances from where they were trying to get back to.
And
it was basically chaos. They were running around in circles.
Yeah, and so what they did is they found out that they had tried to actually make a makeshift shelter to try to survive. So they were still trying to survive.
And one of the theories is that the one climbed the tree to try to get wood to make a fire.
Right.
To try to warm up.
So
something.
They found the bodies. All 9 of them are dead. Right. And so now here's where it gets even stranger. They've collected all 9 bodies, right? All 9 bodies are then sent in. They're frozen, of course, right? Rest in peace. This was not a way that I would like to go. They take them back, they thaw them out, they go through the autopsy process, and what they find during the autopsy process is actually bananas, right? That goes into it, right? So 2 of these guys that they found, have fractured skulls. And it's the fractures in their skulls, they thought at first, well, they must have fell down, right? And they're rolling. But then, like a couple of the doctors were saying, like, in snow, they'd have to bang their head on a rock over and over and over again to get this type of, like, injuries. In fact, it was even later said that even that wouldn't do it, that these injuries, fractured skulls, could not have been done by man, right? And so that was the first question mark that they said, what in the woods was strong enough to cause these type of skull fractures on them, right? So that was 2 of those, right? And then 2 more of them, the other 2, had massive, massive chest injuries, right? And they were like, okay, something incredibly strong happened to these two. They have not been eaten. Don't tell me it was a bear. You understand? They weren't gnawed on.
It was a radioactive bear.
It wasn't a radioactive bear. Wasn't it wasn't. And first of all, here's another little fun fact because I like to give these out. The Ancient Enigma files. The worst way to die in your life is getting eaten by a bear, and here's why. Because bears are herbivores and carnivores, and a bear is the only carnivore that is so primal it doesn't know how to kill its prey. It just starts eating you. A mountain lion will kill you first. Other animals will try to kill you first. A bear will just start eating your stomach. Go look it up. It is horrible. So you do not.
They're omnivores, like dogs. Wolfpack will do the same thing.
They'll just eat on you, right?
They won't kill you. They'll just start eating you.
Right. It's horrible, right? It's horrible.
Yeah, it's rough, dude.
Yeah. So none of these people are eaten, but they have massive, massive, massive injuries. So then they find during the autopsy that this is the weirdest thing too for me, man. This is the weirdest thing for me, right? That one of the mountaineers had its eyes taken out. Now, I don't know if it was a female or the male, but they had their eyes removed. And it was noted in the report that it appeared they were removed surgically. So that doesn't mean a bird pecked them out, right? It means that something took them out, right? Okay, right?
2 of them were missing their eyes.
2 of them. Oh, that's right. 2 of them missing their eyes, right? One of them was missing one of them was missing their tongue. And I'm like, okay, right? So,
it was one of the females was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips.
And it looked like it was
a fragment of skull bone.
It was cut away, right? It looks like it was cut away, right? Or surgically removed. It didn't say how it was taken out.
It doesn't say here. It just gives a general.
Whew. Man, that's weird. Now let that sink in.
It is.
Now let's recap. 9 of us are on a hiking trip. We get blown off course. We set up our tent. We're all experienced mountaineers. This isn't our first time sleeping in the woods. Something scares us so bad that we cut open the tent from the outside and we all bolt. No rationale whatsoever. We leave our clothes behind.
There's only a couple reasons why.
Right.
A group of experienced mountaineers would bolt like that.
Right.
Right. So let's take it. I mean, if we want to take it step by step, we'll start at the beginning, right?
Let's do it. I got my theory. I won't say what it was, but I got my theory.
My theory is going to be very different from your theory.
All right. So you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
No, you go first.
It had to have been something that they had never seen before that scared the shit out of them, right? It had to be something like that, right? Like something that, like, hey, that's not a mountain lion. Hey, that's not a bear. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, what? Right?
I agree with that part.
Bam. Right. So that's what I think.
I 100% agree with that part. It had to have been something. My feeling is that it's something that either the right thing to do was to run away, right? Or it was something they hadn't encountered before, and the danger was so great that there was no time or utility to grab anything on your way out.
Yeah, fight was not an option; it was all flight.
Right. So I'm with you on that one.
Right. So I had to scare them, right? And so they broke out, right? So, and then something with the strength greater than a human, but with no animalistic characteristics, fractured
not something that wanted to eat them.
Cracked 2 skulls and destroyed 2 chests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, and then took out some tongues and some eyes.
Okay, so
weird.
3 of them had fatal injuries.
Right.
Major skull damage. One of them had major skull damage, and the other one had major chest fractures.
And so, look, that just dawned on me too. Right there is another argument, right? So, no matter what you say about what happened and what went on, they didn't die from the elements. Something killed them, right?
No external wounds associated with the bone fractures, as if they had been subjected to a high level of pressure.
Right.
comparable to that of a car crash.
Right.
It's like a car crashed into them, or they were in a car that crashed.
Right. And
That's a lot. That's a lot of force.
That's a lot of force. So yeah. Whew. Anyways,
It's a couple tons worth of force, dude. So
yeah,
there's not a lot of animals that are a couple tons worth of force that they can generate.
Well, so no,
I eliminate anything organic, right?
Yeah. So no, let's take that, right. There's not a creature on this planet that can do that. An animal, I'll say, with its hands, with its claws. Now you might have some say like, oh, you could say the hippopotamus
not
might have
2 tons worth of force. No.
Yeah.
Because your average car, right, is around 2 tons.
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
And so then you would be able to say that, okay, did it, maybe it was his mouth, but they didn't have scars on them, nothing bit them, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
like, there's no this is like not a, this is public information, right? So
yeah.
this is a Wikipedia article telling me exactly this. It was a high level of pressure, like not anything that would do this would extremely high, the force required.
Strong.
And
Strong.
if we're talking about car crash level force, we're talking about tons worth of force.
And it didn't turn their head.
And that's not an animal. That's not an animal.
No,
not in that part of the world. There's no animal in that part of the world that could generate that kind of force.
Exactly, and not use its claws or its teeth to get into it. Right? Something got them right. So anyway,
then there's no machinery up there, right? You got to think about it, because if their footprints were preserved, any machinery in that general vicinity, like any man-made machinery, let's put it that way.
Right.
Anything with wheels or tracks or skis or anything like that wouldn't the trade. There were none of that.
No. All right. So scary and strong. Those are the two characteristics that we can take around right now. So whatever it was very terrifying, never seen before, and is in strength, right?
Yep.
And okay, here's where it gets even weirder, right? It gets even weirder as this, right? Is that the last two they found had the most clothing on because they survived the longest, and they kind of bastardized the clothing from the other people that had passed away. But the clothing that they had put together had high levels of radiation in it. They were these two guys, I don't know if it was a guy or a girl. The last two bodies they found were radioactive. Their clothing was radioactive, right? And I'm just like, I don't even know what to say to that. You know what I'm saying? Right? So, so the clothing was radioactive. Yeah. So, what's your theories on that?
I'm gonna put my Men in Black hat on. You want me to put my Men in Black hat on?
Yeah, put your Men in Black on. Put your Men in Black hat on. And I'm gonna throw some more shade on this, man.
So one of the things that I have heard is that they used something called a thorium lamp, and thorium does emit low levels of radioactivity. These are also people who had a couple of them had worked at a cleanup site. They had cleaned up a nuclear accident. So there was a nuclear accident, not almost to the level of Chernobyl, like the second most probably toxic nuclear accident in Soviet history. And they were, a couple of the hikers were there to clean it up.
You do know that you just made this more weird, right?
Yeah, I know.
But
all I'm doing is reporting facts.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
So yeah, but like the
facts can be weird. I'm not judging the facts, but these are literally facts. These are dudes that went and cleaned up after that nuclear accident.
This thing is so weird that the only thing that can be reasonably explained is the radiation on their clothes. right? So that just shows you how crazy everything else was, right? Okay.
Exactly. And I'm just throwing out the radiation thing because that's, there are a couple possible sources.
Right.
Right.
So, man.
And so that can be, I'm not saying the rest of it ain't weird.
Right.
I'm just saying that this particular thing has some possible explanations.
All right. So here we go. Bam.
All right.
Now we got all the facts out. We got all the evidence out. Now I'm going to start adding in the sauce. You ready for the sauce?
Absolutely.
Here comes the sauce. To make things even more weird, the same time that these guys were on that side or that valley of that mountain that they weren't supposed to be, 50 clicks away, the Russians were actually running military drills. Right? They were doing cold weather survival drills out there. One of the officers at the time called in saying, "I'm seeing strange lights coming from the mountain." He thought that there was another military exercise going on over there that they didn't tell them about, and he didn't want to make contact and have something go bad. That is very common in the military as well. For you people that don't know, man, we actually know a guy at work who won't come on the podcast, but he actually was 82nd Airborne, and his whole platoon got lost in Georgia. They had to go look for them, right? A whole platoon got lost in the woods in Georgia, right, during the training exercise. So, go Army. Anyway, so look.
Be all that you can be.
In the arm. Get lost.
You gotta excuse us. We're old, we're old sailors, so we gotta give the Army.
Get lost in Savannah in the Army. So anyways, no other drills came back, but they reported seeing these orange globes is what he reported, right? Thinking they were flares in the storm, right? So all the orange globes that were going on over there, right?
What if they were flares?
That's what he thought they were, right? So
what if they were?
Well,
what I'm saying is, what if they got trapped in that storm and they're like,
right,
we must launch some flares.
It's true, it's possible, but when I wrap it all together, man, I could tell you where it wasn't flares, right? So
okay.
So the next thing that you got to give it to the Russians, man. They're not only do they make credible grandmaster chess players, they're all very thorough with their investigations, and they took the cameras back. They took all their cameras back to the labs or whatever they did, and they started obviously developing the film. They came across a photo that was in there. In the background of the photo, there was a large something.
Saw that.
Some people say that it was a man. Other people are like, that thing is 9 feet tall. That is not a man. Oh, he was standing on a snow mound. They're like, no, his limb proportion is proper for somebody that's big. So there is something caught
in the background.
On the background of them. And this is don't even start me. This wasn't even close to the digital camera age. They didn't know it. They didn't see it. They just took a picture of it, right? And so here's where I get into where my nerd rage comes out, right? Okay, if it's a 7 foot tall, if you got Shaq at the Dyatlov Pass, right? Or, his 9 feet tall man, or it was a Yeti, can we at least admit something was tracking them? Can we just say that? Something was there. Something's there. There is a something.
There's something in that photo for sure.
There's something there. He's not part of the 9. They're in the middle of nowhere. He's there, whatever it is, and he's ghosting them. Or what we call mirroring him, parallels or whatever. It doesn't matter. He's tracking him. And if you're in the middle of a storm with whiteout conditions, you ain't seeing this. This is your view, right? This is your view, right? So they don't know he's there, right? And so that has led, that thread, people started pulling on, right? And so Jay, here is theory number 1. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. This was the one. A Yeti killed him, right? An abominable snowman from the Sierra showed up, 9 feet tall. They heard it, saw it through the things. That would cause fear, I'm sure. They cut the tent open, and they broke out, right? And they rode. And if you go by and people have done, people have said that would explain the strength. You have a 1.5 ton, 9 foot tall creature on a
I
pure
don't know, man. That's a
on a
even
pure protein diet, not skipping leg days.
I'm gonna even a silverback gorilla,
Right.
right? Those people get close to those things, and I don't know what's wrong with them. That is a murder machine right there, dude. Those things are so unbelievably strong.
Yeah.
It would pick up a normal human, shake it like a baby, and it would be dead.
Right.
I don't know. So if we scaled that up, right? So we would have to assume that whatever it was, a Yeti. So if we're going to assume it was a Yeti, that's a big ass Yeti. Big, strong, really, really, really strong, dude.
So
to be able to create some of those injuries.
One of the people that did the photo analysis saying that they estimate that his shoulder width was 5 feet long.
Wide.
He had
5
feet wide shoulders,
that's
right?
Like a little bit more than me wide.
Right. So
like if I'm gonna lay across his shoulders.
Yeah. And in my mind, I can't wrap my mind around that. I cannot wrap my mind around it.
So imagine me standing next to me.
Yeah. No, I can.
That's how wide he is.
I can visualize it, right? But I'm just thinking like something that massive, right? 5 foot wide shoulders, right? And I thought to myself, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
that would be frightening, right? That would make you
for sure, right?
Literally flee in fear. If you're gonna cut yourself out of your tent,
yeah,
that's probably gonna be a reason, right?
And
you see something.
And for reference purposes, how wide is a door? 3 feet wide?
I'm going to say, 36 by 60 typically.
Right.
Sometimes you'll have a 48-inch door, but that's usually a closet.
So add a foot.
Yeah, I'm going to say 36 inches, like 3 feet wide.
So add a foot to each side, and that's what showed up. If you go into this,
right? That's a big thing, dude.
Right?
That's a big thing because I got 2 doors like right next to each other, and one of them is 48, and one of them is 36. Yeah. That is a large creature. Holy, yeah, that's a big thing.
So
right there.
That's number one, right? That's theory number one, right?
That might make you pee a little bit.
Well, it would definitely cause the it would definitely rule
the snow, right?
The fight's out. That would rule the fight out right away. Yeah, we're not fighting this, right? That rules it. I don't have to be faster than it. I got to be faster than you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what we do.
People might be throwing some elbows.
I'm leg sweeping somebody, man. Like this depends, man. Just don't be slow, right? So that's that one theory. The second theory is that people lead into the globes. Some people say that it was a UFO something, right? A UFO.
Right. That there was some kind of they saw lights in the sky, right. So it could have been whatever.
But I kind of poo-poo that right away, man. I'll tell you what. I can tell you why I
don't feel like it would be unreasonable to think that people trapped in a storm, especially experienced mountaineers, wouldn't launch a flare.
Right. Could be a flare.
But I don't know the details of what their kit was.
So me neither, right? And it wasn't mentioned in the report as well as either. But also too, what type of UFO abduction story have you heard? Now you've heard about cattle mutilations where they take eyes and body. But they didn't do it for all of them. Right, just a couple of them, right?
It doesn't track.
Yeah, and
right? An encounter.
And if this was like a UFO like abduction, then they would have gotten taken, right? It's not like they like they're if like we've talked about this time, like you bunker dummies, right? If you're hiding from whatever's coming from space, they're gonna peel your ass out of that freaking that bunker.
Well, I mean, and so. I know that this is one of the things, right? Abduction stories. The thing about abduction stories is that you come back.
Yeah.
But how many abduction stories are you don't come back?
Yeah. Exactly.
Nobody ever finds you because you never know. Like
Yeah.
that is literally just a missing persons report,
In fact,
right?
I just got a text from the Andromedans saying that that's sloppy work. We don't do that. That might be some reptilian stuff going on down there, but it's not an Andromedan.
Yeah, right.
It's not.
The
An
Gray
Androm-
said no.
Yeah, the Greys say no, man. We're a lot more proficient on that, right?
We've got more style than that.
Right.
Not our style.
So if I got to go with the Yeti versus UFO, based on that picture, I'm going Yeti right now. So UFO, you're out, right? For me. Let us know in the comments if you guys, whatever. Second one they go with, right, is that they were saying, this one's the dumbest one I think I've heard so far, is they were saying like, oh, they all got killed by ball lightning. And I was like to myself, ball lightning? I've seen videos of ball lightning, Jay, but like, really?
It doesn't generate kinetic force like that.
Yeah. So
no.
That's out. Then the other ones were saying that it was some type of alien death ray. Stop. Now you're just trying to piss me off. You understand? Alien death ray.
Now you're reaching.
Yeah, now you're reaching. Now you don't want the truth, right? Not even if we get to that Yeti and he admits to it and signs it, you're still saying, it's an alien death ray. Get out of here with that, right?
Too far of an outlier.
Boom. Right. So yeah. So then the Russians did a great job of putting everybody's mind to rest after they did all this research. They put everything together and they said that based on our conclusion, these people were killed by something unnatural with unnatural force in an unnatural way. Case closed. That is literally what they said.
Compelling natural force.
Exactly. Compelling natural force. Excuse me in the back.
Thanks.
What exactly is a compelling natural force? What?
Yeah.
Can I get a little explanation, follow up on that? No
Sounds
follow
like
up.
Somebody was gunning for a propaganda job.
Yeah, right. Nothing, right? So on top of that, man, they took all the evidence, made it public to all the scientists, said everybody dig in, let us know. Wrong. They destroyed it all, classified it all, burned it all, threw it all away. Never happened. Russia is perfect and nothing weird ever happens here.
Right.
And that had no effect at all on the theories on the raising. What could possibly have go down in there, right? So that is the end of the investigation, end of all the facts, end of all the postulations, right? So now, because we're the Ancient Enigma Files and we go above and beyond on everything, right? And I actually happen to have a little bit of experience in unraveling stuff like this. There was one piece of evidence that they left out. And by the way, feel free to take my theory and anybody in here and run with it. Right?
We'll get there.
I
have my own theory.
There's one piece of information that they left out, right? The Russians, when at the height of the Soviet Union, they ignored the indigenous populations of these regions. Siberia actually has an Eskimo-like tribe. I don't know their names, but they have a very distinct music. Actually, I've seen them on Instagram performing, right? They populate this area. They were never questioned. They were never asked what happened. They were never asked what they know until I'm talking 50 years later, right? The people went back and they were talking to these people, right? And the people, I wish I could remember their tribe name. If you know their tribe, post it in the comments.
Here, I just have to find it.
Look it up. Get on it, Jay. Find them, Jay. Go. Anyways,
I'm working it.
While he's looking, the natives of the area, the natives of that Siberian forest area, the natives of that mountain, they had in their tongue, they called the mountain something, which loosely translates to Mountain of Death. So that's not making that up, right? Yeah. So the natives said that's the Mountain of Death.
Dead Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Dead Mountain.
Dead Mountain, Death Mountain or something like that, right? So it has a warming, free hugs type of vibe about it, right?
Yeah, totally.
So they say that mountain is plagued with orbs, orange orbs, and that you do not go near that mountain because there are things on that mountain they call them spirits, they call them something else, whatever, whatnot. But basically, it's a no-go fly zone over there and they adamantly attest that the guardians of that mountain killed these people. Right? They adamantly say that's what it was. You're not supposed to go there. They don't go there. And you've heard me say this. This is probably the 5th podcast you're going to hear me say this, right? Here's your second survival tip from the Ancient Enigma file.
Right. Listen to the natives.
Is if you ignore Native American legend at your own risk. If the Cherokees say don't go on that mountain or you're going to lose your eyeballs, okay, you've been warned. Right. Do not go, right? And if
the name of the people, right? There's an initial speculation that the indigenous Mansi people,
right,
and they're reindeer herders.
Yes, and that sounds like a hard job. And don't go near Death Mountain. And it instantly made me think of and there's another place that I've seen this exact same type of anomalies, disappearances. In fact, I even think there is a Dyatlov Pass Americans, very similar story. We're going to look that up, Jay. Make a note of that, man. We're going to look that up, man. And we might even do the next podcast to compare the American version of it.
We have the Donner Pass.
Yeah.
You heard about that, right?
No, what's that one?
That's different. That's a different story. We could talk about that at some point. That was a very interesting
make a footnote
incident that happened out west, where they got caught in a snowstorm, but there was no supernatural thing going on. They just ate each other.
Yeah, no. So, yeah. Ugh. So, anyways.
The Donner part, Anyway.
So, anyways, with this one here, it's very similar to Mount Shasta. Mount Shasta is a mountain in California that people even say the Lumerians live inside that mountain, and that mountain is like a lot of crazy stuff.
There's a lot going on there.
That Mount Shasta has the exact same anomalies, orbs, Bigfoots, guardians of the mountain. Don't go above the snow line. Don't hike above the tree line.
I wonder how it lines up geographically.
Who knows, right? Who knows? So they say that the guardians of the mountain, they weren't supposed to be there. We don't go there. The orbs, it always has these orbs on it or whatever. And so that would explain something got them.
Considered it dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous, right? I'm pretty sure somebody just woke up one day and here's another thing too. People out there saying, "Oh, you're so full of it." Let me ask you a question, and you can answer this question in the comments right now. Who knows more about war? A guy that's read 3 books or a guy that's done 3 tours? I'm gonna go with the guy. So
that was one of them was a World War II veteran.
Yeah. So my thing is that if the natives live there generation after generation after generation, and they're telling you what did it, even if they're using what would say a spiritual tone, like the spirits of the mountain did it, or whatever, that's what did it. Whatever those spirits could be, who knows? But don't tell me it was a bear. Don't tell me it was a mountain lion. Don't tell me that a death ray or the Greys did it. No, whatever's in that mountain you're not supposed to go to that mountain. That's what got them, bro. And one of the guardians, they got a little bit too close, and the guardian did his job, man. And that's what I think happened. And I don't know if it has anything to do with that behemoth that was in that photo, or something woke up. And my guess is too that the military drills 50 clicks away probably didn't help the situation much when they were getting a little bit, jammed up. But and I also
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So I'll also say too that I bet you that they figured this out, and they just lied, and that's why it's like, hey, look, it was some crazy, what do they call it, Jay? Force of anomalous nature or some
compelling natural force. Some shit. I love that one. That one is a very so vague. It fits pretty much anything.
So all you single guys out there looking for a lady, next time you see him, like, hey baby, you want to date a compelling natural force or force of nature?
No, just tell them, well, why are you what brought you my way. Just say, baby, you just have this compelling
natural force about you that you could just kill a man. Anyway,
trust me, that shit'll work too.
I'm gonna put that on.
Maybe
might go on a t-shirt. So, anyways,
I give bad advice in that particular account. So
Jay is ladies repellent, y'all. You don't want to chick.
Yeah, I am the anti-wingman. Yeah. I'm the anti-wingman. I am the guy you do not want to bring with you if you want to pick up.
I've seen it. I've seen it in action. Well documented.
It's amazing that I was able to reproduce.
Yeah, amazing. Anyways, give me your theory. That's what I think is. I think it's a Mount Shasta-like situation. I do not doubt. I never doubt the Native American legends and the Native Siberians.
Oh yeah,
I don't doubt that. If they say that's what did it,
absolutely.
That's what did it.
But see, okay, so all right, I come at it from a completely different angle, right?
Let's do it. CERN.
So especially for the indigenous people and the stories that they tell, right? Mm-hmm. And saying, hey, that's Death Mountain, meaning if you go over there, you're probably going to die. And whether they attach a spiritual aspect to it or whatever, it's there as a cautionary tale to say, just don't go over there because there's no point. You're just going to die, right? Mm-hmm. And in order to give it strength, right, you attach whatever you need to it to keep people safe to a certain extent, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I've done a lot of research on this one too, because this was one of the first ones that kind of hit me weird, right? I came across it. I fell down this rabbit hole somehow, and it doesn't even matter how I got there. But I got really attached to the story because it just seemed very odd to me that just the varied nature of the injuries, right? You've got one it's crushing damage, right? It's kinetic, right? And it's a lot of kinetic force, right? And then you've got burns, and then you've got missing body pieces, and then you've got hypothermia, and all of the people are spread out all over the place. So it really just seemed very strange. But over the years, they've revisited this a lot because it's famous. It's like a big, huge thing in Russia, right? Because it was a matter of pride.
It's Roswell level.
Pretty much. It's like Russia's version of Betty and Barney and Hill.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So they've studied it a bunch of times, and one of the going theories is that it was an avalanche, right? Mm-hmm. That particular, but it was a particular kind of avalanche, because avalanches were not typical on that particular place where they were at, and it would it hit them with just enough force that caused some blunt force trauma to three of them who were in that position of the tent, mm-hmm. where it would just come down and crush them. Right. And then they would cut themselves out and run because that's what you're supposed to do in an avalanche. If shit starts sliding around, you don't have time. You need to go. You need to go and get out. And so that's what their training would tell them is we just got hit by an avalanche. There's going to be another one coming here in a minute. We could all be buried under 20 feet of snow and die. We need to run from this location right now. Mm-hmm. Right. And I feel like that is a fairly plausible explanation. Now, when they got out there, dude, that kind of cold and that kind of hypothermia, your mind's going to go immediately. Your body's going to feel like it's on fire, literally for a second. Right. Every step is going to be agony. Right. And if you're not wearing very many clothes, you're not going to last long. So the first two went down immediately as soon as they got to a place where they stopped. As soon as they stopped moving, they froze to death. Yeah. Because if you're doing any kind of work, even when it's cold, you're going to sweat. Yeah. And that is immediately going to just rip your body temperature away in an environment like that. Yeah. So they were probably popsicles within minutes.
Well, I'm going to destroy your theory.
Okay. Do it. Absolutely.
All right. No, that's a good theory. That's a good theory, though. I didn't think of that theory until you brought that up. But you're actually right. just by putting our case together, right, we have to break out fast. And that would make you break out fast. Now, you're right, man. That would make you break out fast. Get out, right? And just go, right? Because if an avalanche rolls over you and you're in that tent, you just basically made an egg roll. You've got to get some distance, man, and that's for sure, right? But then it also takes me to the injury thing, though. In fact, man, I'm just giving survival tips left right. Here's an Ancient Enigma Files tip: how not to die in an avalanche. If you get run over by an avalanche, put your arms like this over your head as hard as you can. Grab them just like that, right? The reason being is because an avalanche normally will suffocate you to death, right? It will flip you up and down, up and down. So you want to create a little bit of space where you can breathe if you have a shot at all. If you don't, I mean, it just depends on how you get down. It'll be pitch black dark when you get in there.
Be near an avalanche.
Or don't be near an avalanche.
That's my advice.
And the first thing you need to do is figure out which way is up. So the first thing you do when you calm down and catch your breath is you spit. And whatever the direction the spit goes in, go the opposite. don't go down, right? Go the opposite and just start digging, and you'll probably die 2 days later instead of the day. But anyways, they don't normally get crushed, right?
If you're lucky and you're not too deep.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll at least make an air hole.
Yeah.
So you can breathe.
And you catch your breath and get out of there, right?
And scream. Just start screaming.
So I'll give you, we'll call it a draw that maybe the avalanche caused that type of stuff. But the tent wasn't washed away. And the ones that got away never went back. Why didn't they go back to the tent?
Well, they did try. That was the thing. I think they were just so...
you know what? That's a good point, man. That is a good point.
So confused and so off track.
Yeah.
And there was a storm, and by this time, dude, like the people, the last ones to die had clothing from everybody else kind of patchworked on themselves.
Yeah.
But they were still like, they had been out there longer than the others.
Yeah. And here's Ancient Enigmas: how not to die from hypothermia. If you ever fall into the water, and when you're in the deep woods or whatever, and you ever fall into the water, and you're covered in your clothing, soaking wet, it's going to sound crazy. The first thing you want to do is don't try to go anywhere. If you're in like really severe situation, you need to make a fire and take off your clothes. They'll teach you in the military that when you jump into the water and it's 20 degrees with your clothes on, they make you take your clothes off and jump back in. It's still 20 degrees, right? It's not keeping you warm. And your hands are going to go numb real fast. So make a fire as quickly as possible as you can get going. And then get yourself together and then get going. Because hypothermia will hit your mind and you won't be able to think quickly. That's actually a good point, Jay. That if you got a mile away,
I don't know if you've ever been close to hypothermia, but the colder you get, the sleepier you get.
Yeah, no, I have. Like when I was in Japan, we went through some training over there. And they were showing they did that on purpose, right? And
I know.
And so yeah, to let you know what it's like. Yeah, you're definitely not thinking clear. Okay.
Sleepy, and you're not thinking clearly.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. And they had injuries too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to think if the avalanche scenario,
right? That would be extremely rare, though.
Force trauma, right?
Right.
Blunt force trauma to the head and chest.
Right.
Not going to be able to breathe very well.
Mm-mm.
They're not going to be oxygenated.
Right.
And they're cold.
Right. Minus 30.
Going down fast, man.
Yeah. So yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a 1 in 100 shot. That's what happened. Just because the Native Americans say that it doesn't get a lot of avalanches that year, but you can't rule it out because it does occasionally get one. But I'm going with the Death Mountain orb scenario.
Yeah, it's this weird, like they were saying, it's a different kind, right?
Yeah.
Because like you have one that it just lets loose, right? But then there's another one where it just shifts. It just slides, like a plate slides on top of another plate. Yeah. And it wasn't a significant amount of snow, but man, snow was heavy.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
What was the calculation? One of the calculations was there, and I was like amazed at how heavy it actually is. Like if it Like there was another case that I looked at. There was an avalanche, and a guy got caught in an avalanche, and it knocked him off of a ravine, and then he got buried in 20 feet of snow. It was the equivalent of 16,000 pounds worth of force.
Wow.
I can't even imagine, dude.
Walk it off, champ. Walk it off, champ.
Right?
Sure.
No, you're not getting
off.
up from that, dude.
No, for sure.
That's like dropping a big boat on somebody.
No, and so yeah, that's a good thing. All right, so I'll give it a 1 in 100, but for me,
1 in 100.
1 in 100.
Cool.
Because this is the rare slide. You can't rule it. You can't rule it out.
And we'll give the telekinetic Yeti.
100%, 99. We're going with the orange murder balls.
1 in 10. Yeah. 1 in 10 chances of a telekinetic Yeti.
Exactly. We're definitely going with the orange murder balls. Death Mountain Guardians from the locals there.
Do you remember Happy Fun Ball?
No.
Did you ever watch Saturday Night Live when you were a kid?
Uh-uh.
I did. Happy Fun Ball was a skit from Saturday Night Live in the 70s. I know I'm aging myself.
You're dating yourself there, old timer. But
I'm old. I'm shit.
You know what? But really, you know what it comes down to, man. The two things that it comes down to, right? For me, is I'm going with the people that live there 24/7. I'm going with their Native American things, the Death Mountain thing, but it's also the picture, right? There was somebody else there, right? Somebody else there, right? And
that is definitely weird.
That's the thing, man, and that's the thing is that okay, and they were in the middle of they were in the middle of nowhere.
They were in the middle of nowhere. That didn't even have a name. That place didn't even have a name.
Yeah, it didn't until after this.
Dyatlov Pass now because of Igor Dyatlov.
Yeah, right. So didn't even have a name, right? And so the only people that were there, I mean, in that area, and they didn't go to that area, were the indigenous. The only ones that could carve out a life in there were the people that were there, right? And so, but something was there. Yeah, man, that's weird, bro. Like something was there. There was something else was in the mix, right? So if that picture didn't ever show up and they didn't catch that whatever it was back there, I would be like, okay, right? Then because what's that formula, Jay? When you rule out everything plausible, whatever Occam's razor, right? Whatever's left, no matter how improbable is the answer, right?
It's it was one of those things. I remember it from Sherlock Holmes, right? Yeah.
That's what it's called, Occam's razor, right?
A lot of the Sherlock Holmes books.
Yeah.
Right.
So eventually, you got to add in the weird, right? You got to add in the weird, right? And so,
I mean, here's the thing, dude. I don't know about you, but strange things have happened to me, right? Weird things have lined up in the universe, and like, so I would never count anything out, right? Our this is all too weird for some of it not to be true, right? And now with some of the advanced, like everybody's got a camera in their hand. Everybody's got a good camera in their hand.
Bro,
we're gonna see more.
I'm gonna blow your mind, dude, in a second, dude. Yeah, no. What like so I recently have came to the conclusion, man, and I'm almost to that point now, man, where you'll never be able to convince me, man, that we have been not just us, man, but our fathers, grandfathers, we have been lied to since birth. That we've been lied to so much that we don't actually even know what the year is. We don't even actually know what the month is. We don't even actually know what calendar we're on.
Oh, that's arbitrary anyway.
Yeah, and that. Did you hear about this 80-kilometer anomaly that just shot up out of Antarctica, where they want to say a mothership literally landed in that thing and it kicked up like 50-foot waves? Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't.
That was
I heard
a couple days ago.
I heard something in the ocean.
Yeah.
Right.
And so,
but I thought it was off the coast of the Bahamas or something.
No, it was down. It was
an unidentified anomaly in the water
southwest of the African Horn, man, heading down towards Antarctica, right? So I didn't give it. I didn't give it there's too much. I got too much weird shit coming at me at once, man. I don't have time to get in that right now. But so,
hey, look, dude, the world has gotten really, like, any way you slice it.
Yeah.
In the last decade, the world has gotten super weird.
Weird, right? Weird. And the thing, and here's the thing about a lie, right? And this is actually a very like point that I came up with this about like 6 months ago. Is for years I've been saying UFOs are real, aliens are real for years, taking so much shit about it, right? The government comes out and says they're real. We've had evidence for a long time. And no one says, well, why are you lying all the time? No one ever asks them why they lie. And if you're known as a liar, even when you say the truth, people are going to still say you're a liar, right? And so, like,
exactly, because then your credibility is shit. Right?
Exactly, right. And so it's lies upon lies upon lies upon lies, and that's what we're in, right? But then also, when I basically started this channel, man, and doing the research and pulling up these finite details. You and I back in the day, we weren't thinking about 10.5-foot dog men out of Michigan or freaking that we weren't even thinking about this stuff, right? And so then I hear the native, but then if you see what we have now, and then you look to the Native American folklore, and you're saying, damn, in their own way, that's what they're describing. You know what I'm saying? Like, in their own way, they're going that direction. So even if Igor Dyatlov had lived, would he have even had the vocabulary to explain what happened to him, right?
Yeah. We don't know.
You don't even know, man.
That's the thing, right? Like, they all took copious notes, right?
Detailed.
So they all died very quickly. So there was no like documentation. We have right up to the end though, right? But it's one of those things where this happened in 1959. Right? They didn't have the forensics capabilities that we have nowadays. They didn't have the understanding of physics or like just the understanding of the world at large that we have.
Right.
In the general sense back in 1959, man. Like, you know what sucks as a getting old? I want you to think about something. How long ago was 1959, Joe?
Yeah, bro. Nah, man.
Do the math real quick. That's
75 years?
65 years ago.
65? 75? We're talking about.
Is it? I don't know. I guess I'm bad at math.
No. You're probably 65 years ago. 65 years ago.
I'm not that bad at math. All right. 65 years ago, dude. What was the world like 65 years ago? We weren't, obviously, thank God I wasn't alive, right? We're not that old. But the world's changed a lot in that time.
Yeah, no, like, totally.
They had cell phones with them now. They would have had mobile phones with them now.
GPS tracker satellite phones. They would have had helo support. They'd have been out of there in an hour.
Right.
They would all been low jacked. I mean, they would have.
Yeah.
Just want to happen.
Right.
Yeah, man. But it just adds on. So that's one thing I've enjoyed about doing this channel is taking the modern perspective and looking back on stuff that people say, oh, that's that didn't happen. Like, nah, like connects us to other places as well. But you know what else? You know what else that ties this that makes me lean into the supernatural on this as well, or the unexplained, is that how many damn mountains on this planet are we going to be told that we don't F around on? What's the deal with these mountains? And it's like, okay, Mount Herman, don't go there. You can't go there. There's a damn UN base halfway up there, but they won't let you go to the top of it for reasons, right?
And then Mount Shasta is like famous, man. It's
Mount Shasta.
There's so many stories and weirdness going on there.
And then there was also freaking Mount Shasta. There's also this mountain, I think it's K12 next to Mount Everest, where Shiva is supposed to live, that no one's allowed to climb.
Look at what the cultures are like that are mountain cultures, right? So, Tibet, right?
Yeah. No,
Tibet is a very, very, it's some of the highest mountains in the world, right? Like that is a huge, very mountainous
I want to think.
region. And look at the people who are there. They're extremely spiritual people, right?
Yeah, I shake my head at some of that the weirdos.
I
What
point being that
is that?
right.
What does
My
that even
point
mean?
being that some of that, like that, for some reason, humans that dwell in that sort of environment have a very spiritual culture.
So, and there's also I want to think there's a plateau somewhere in Australia too that I'd heard about, and there was
Yeah,
also
there's Big Rock,
there's a
right?
big rock out
Ayers
there.
Rock.
Yeah, what's it called?
Ayers Rock. It's like this huge.
Yeah.
So, and then Ayers Rock in Australia. It's out, I think it's out in the middle of, out in the middle of the Great Desert. It's just this huge.
Oh,
it's the biggest rock in the world.
I learned a new word from our.
It's huge.
I learned a new word from our friends with the Cryptids Women's Society.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's called a wee looky.
A wee looky.
A wee looky, right?
What is that?
Basically means take a look. Have to use it.
Oh, have a wee looky.
Have a wee looky, right? It's going in my rotation, dog. Have a wee looky, mate.
Absolutely. Bring it back.
Jay, here's a Yeti coming to kill us. Have a wee looky. I need to work on it to be more natural, not to be forced.
I feel like it would be more like, boy, I found a track over here. Have a wee looky.
Have a wee looky. Have a wee looky. No, I'll make it play. I'll give it legs.
We'll figure it out. I think we should put an American spin on it and say,
have a wee looky, mate.
Dude, pull over. I need to have a wee looky.
Have a wee looky. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, we can figure it out. But so then, the mountains that we're not supposed to climb on, and all the crazy stuff that we're not, and it's 2024 that we're not supposed to do, and then, yeah, to me, it's just I feel that everything is just like coming to light, and all this weird shit is like happening, and then, but
because nobody can hide anymore.
Yeah, nah. And the thing too is that like we've had this conversation on the last podcast. If something's coming here, don't waste your time digging a hole. Sit on the porch and have a drink. You're cooked. We're done. You understand? You understand, friend? Right?
I mean, that's the thing. Anything with a sufficient advanced technology to be able to get from outside of our solar system to here.
You want to hear a funny story?
Has such an advanced level of technology past ours that there really wouldn't be a fight.
You want to hear a funny story?
What's that?
Today my wife's like, "Hey man, run me up the street, go to this right now." I'm driving up there. It's like 20 minutes away. She's rambling off or something, and she was like, "Hey," I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Where's your mind at? Is everything okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah. I'm just, She's like, "Are you in a bad mood?" I'm like, "No. Why? Why you think that?" She's like, "No, you're just not yourself. What are you thinking about?" I was like,
"You don't want to know."
I was like, are you serious right now? I was like, "Yeah, what are you thinking about?" And I was thinking to myself, well, how long would we survive if the reptilians poured out of the earth? What kind of fight? She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes, yeah." So like, what kind of caliber should I use? About .225? Will that get the job done? Right? I mean, like, do these guys see good at night? During the day? Should we counter strike? Should we go in first? This is an important conversation we're having here, right? Yeah. You're over there talking about Sephora and what we have for lunch.
And I'm thinking about defending the world from the Saurians.
Taking on the Draconians, son.
Yeah.
So yeah, bro.
That's happened to me before. We were in traffic one day, and she says, your eyes turn off, right? Because it's that empty look. Because I am not here. I am somewhere else, right? I am building, a Tesla turbine powered, drone or whatever. And she was like, what are you thinking about? And I explained it. And I was like, well, I was thinking about the nature of black holes and how if what we're experiencing right now is just the collapse of the probability wave and the interference of that collapse, right, is really our minds are picking up that as an antenna, right? Our minds aren't really in our brain. Our brain's just an antenna picking up that the wave function and collapse of probability.
Nerd.
And she was like, I hate you right now.
I hate you.
And I'm sorry you asked what was going on in my brain. I just told you.
And so it also, to finish my thought, when after she shut up and I could get back to the important stuff, I was thinking to myself, right? I said, I said to myself, you know how I think that we're wonderfully. I follow the scriptures. We're wonderfully and fearfully made, and by inherent nature, we are capable of extremely good things and incredible violence at the same time. And so I heard the theory that these draconians, they feed off of us, right? And I thought to myself, well, if that was the case, why don't they just come out and like round us up, put us in pens, force us to mate, and just eat us? And I thought to myself, is because maybe we can take these jokers, man. Maybe they don't want to come out and go toe to toe with us. Maybe, or something's protected by God and we're off limits and we're not supposed to be touched. That's why they're in the earth. The Bible says several times those on the earth and in the earth will bow down, right? So maybe that has something to do with it. This got me to thinking on that, man, is that like, I will say I was going to do an Instagram thing before we wrap this up here, man. I was going to do an Instagram post. I'm probably going to do it sometime next week. I will say something, man, about that eclipse, dude. And I don't want to give it to the tin foilers too hard. I actually feel different. I don't know. Look, it's going to sound nuts, man, but this is not the craziest thing you've ever heard me say. Facts, especially you.
All I can say is I got more done in the last 48 hours than I have in the last 3 months. And that is odd. So yeah, something odd may have happened.
On Monday, I went out and I was like, had my glasses and I stared at it for a second without my glasses, put my glasses back on and some cloud coverage. I was just testing the theory, right? I was just going to see it, right?
You did it anyway.
Yeah, I did it anyway, man. I was up there trying, I was doing weird stuff like this, right?
I said it so many times. Don't look at the sun. Yeah. And you know what? People did it anyway. What was the most searched term after the eclipse, man?
That's why my eyes
hurt.
I just in case some special gamma waves were coming down and I could get some Cyclops powers, man. I wanted to test that theory.
Oh, they'll give you a permanent crosshairs.
Yeah. But something is different, man. And I don't want people to say, yeah, they jumped the timeline. Oh, okay. I feel lighter. That's the only, I don't have the vocabulary to articulate how I'm feeling. The feeling is a good feeling. It's not a weird, euphoric type of feeling. I just feel lighter.
A little bit more content.
Lighter. Like I feel like I don't feel so heavy, right? And I know it's crazy. And I did have some pretty gnarly dreams a couple of days afterwards, right? But like my dreams sometimes, man, they get weird on their own, right? So that's how I know mass hallucinations are bullshit.
I don't dream very often.
Yeah. So
I mean, I imagine I probably dream. I just don't remember them.
Yeah.
So I rarely remember them.
So I do feel different.
I want to say something real quick before we go because you
hit it.
We're talking about them preying on us and the fearfully and wonderfully made thing, right? And so I have my own. We went into my own loony theory before, right? That any of these visitations and whatnot are to check and see how much Nephilim blood is left in the human race, right? Just checking to see how. I feel like that's a dangerous thing. If you were to look at the stories, the whole fearfully and wonderfully made thing, I feel like it was a shock that they were able to interbreed.
Oh yeah.
Right. And then one of the things that I kind of gravitate to, not only the thing that you said, which I also really resonates with me, but also the like the after effects, right, of what they made when there was an interbreeding thing happening and how it was tried to be cleansed, right? But that didn't exactly work 100% because they talk about the Nephilim after the flood.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if this is the thing that we are, right, and one of the reasons why there was anger, and I'm not going to say what entity, where, right? But the interbreeding caused a little bit of anger because one of the passages was they're bound to the earth now, right? They're bound to this place because they are of this place. They are not of the heavens, right?
Right.
Well, if you look at it scientifically, right, when we go into space, very bad things happen to the human body, right? I don't feel like we would make it to the outer planets without being able to really master our own physical.
Yeah, it'll never happen until we're able to create artificial gravity, because the moment gravity leaves, our immune system stops. It just doesn't work anymore. It just doesn't work.
It's not just the immune system, man. Bones and joints and muscles and all kinds of craziness happens. Digestion, right? Like, we're not made for space. We are made for Earth. Yeah. This is where we've been.
That's our monkey blood. Long. That's our monkey blood, son.
We're specialized to this planet. So we by extension, built. Right?
We are the perfect
anything that comes here is specialized to out there.
Right.
But what I'm trying to say to you is this, right? These beings that in a certain way, we cannot adapt to space. They cannot adapt to here very easily, which is, an interesting thought, because if you are, in order to get away from your own solar system, you got to change your own biology.
Got it. Yeah.
So the things that we're seeing aren't even the original things anyway.
I think we can take them, though. I'll tell you why. Right.
I don't disagree with you. Dude, the capacity of humans is amazing.
Yeah, so we have one Achilles heel, right? You ever heard? I think Ronald Reagan said, if we knew the threats that were in outer space, we'd come together instantly as a humanity, and like it would.
I kind of feel it's 100% true,
bro. I would turn it around. Say those reptoids do live in the Earth, right? And if they came out, then they were preying on us, bro. Let's go get them. It's time to.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Like, a prey species that alerts its prey to its presence will not last long.
Exactly. Especially when that prey is equally as dangerous. Because I will tell you this right now, man. If Greys could not shut our minds down, we would fuck them up, bro. They are skinny, bro. I'm telling you, I'll take 10 out of I will swing them around like a golf club, right? But that whole thing about, man, a Grey's there's no leg day for those guys. No, they're not working out. It's that
they didn't evolve here.
Yeah,
we're on our home turf.
Yeah, if they couldn't shut our brains down, man, and make us forget shit or calm us down or do whatever they do, we're taking them guys, bro.
Depending on how space travel works.
Yeah.
And the possibility of even being able to generate artificial gravity.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we already I think we have it already.
Let's just say it's a hard problem. Right? If it's a hard problem, that would make sense as to the structure of these aliens, right? They're used to being in a low gravity environment, maybe not a 0G environment, but a low gravity environment. They're not going to be very functional here. Yeah. Anything that's functional out there for a long period of time is not going to be functional on the planet for a period of time.
Yeah, we tune them guys.
They're almost two mutually exclusive kind of environments to a certain degree.
Same thing if those reptoids. If we ever got proof that those reptoids were real and they were eating us and doing all this weird shit on us, oh, bro, you about to catch it, son. You know what I'm saying? You about to catch it.
Which is why they would hide, right?
Yeah. You're about to catch it.
Unless they vastly outnumbered us, they had no shot.
Imagine this, bro. Before we go, man, imagine this. You're such a nerd talking about this stuff. You're a nerd. You're a nerd.
I love it, man.
You're a nerd.
I love it. Dude, we're walking down pathways. It's beautiful.
Check this out, bro. Imagine the combined military strength of the globe if we stopped fighting each other and say that, hey, look, we found a draconian hive base.
Not even the military might, but just think about what would be possible if we all just kind of decided at once, you know what, screw this.
Yeah.
We're gonna favor. Okay, so this is a big deal for me, right? Mm-hmm. I could do a whole podcast on the evolution of humanity, right? we're in a new age, right? I a little bit subscribe to the Mayan calendar. I really do truly believe that there are these cycles to humanity, right? And we went through a big one. It was 6,000 years long.
Yeah.
But you got to think about what we were doing during those 6,000 years. We were. I call it the age of innocence, right? Where we were finding out about our world. I look at humanity as like a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're growing up. Right now, we're in our adolescence, so we're completely chaotic and have no idea what the fuck we're doing.
Bet.
Right? But we move through these ages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've moved into a new one where it's different than it was before. And we have to start not competing with each other and cooperating more. Right?
Yeah.
So far, it's been all competition. And competition is good until it's destructive.
So that's why I say, I'll be your emperor. Bow down, mortals, and everything will be fine. Everything will be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
Anyways,
just embrace the empire, sir.
Embrace it. We'll catch up on that. Well, all right. Well, if you stuck around this long, you're our type of losers, right?
Our kind of loser.
Bunch of nerds. Bunch of nerds. Pound that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. Talk in the comments. I don't give a whatever you do with that bell. You can do that, and then we will go from there, man. Enjoy. Fun fact: today is the 1 year anniversary of this YouTube channel. So congratulations, happy birthday! The Ancient Enigma Files, right? It's been a fun journey. Absolutely. We had a good time.
Congratulations.
And Jake, I will see you next week.
Absolutely. I'll be here.
All right. We out.
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.